The Melbourne Storm, obviously with that win, they'll go through the prelim final to take on the Penrith Panthers this week. Now, the Melbourne Storm were not at their best against the Sydney Roosters and maybe lucky to even win that game. They haven't been at their best really all year. Their performance against the Roosters wasn't good enough to suggest or think that they can take on the Panthers and win. No,
they've got to be better. They know that, Braith. I spoke to them after the game. Cam, your man Cammy Munster, Harry Grant, Craig, Frank Panissi, they all know this side's got to be better next week. They basically know they've got to be perfect for 60 minutes. Yeah. And if they're still there at the 60-minute mark, I think they can go on.
Are they concerned?
I think they're concerned with how they've been playing, yeah. I think it's, well, how can you not be when you're going up against Penrith?
It was an improvement on the previous week.
It was still scratchy though, Buzz. Yeah. You know, they were still scratchy. And when you play against Penrith, you need to be perfect. You can't, because they will grind you down. They will stay with you they'll just keep at you and keep at you. And if you drop your guard, if you're off your game, they'll get you.
I remember saying on the show, I was about 4 or 5, I don't know, 6 weeks ago when Melbourne Storm did play Penrith at Penrith. Jerome Hughes didn't play, but they walked off that field and they thought, we're not even close here. We're not close to the benchmark at that time being Penrith. So they changed their training, they upped their intensity, and they really refocused the back end of the year, knowing that they just weren't where they needed to be. They're still not quite there yet. They're going to need one hell of a performance to even go close to being them, really.
Look, the Roosters, they were undermanned as well, right? So the last game they played against a top 4 side or, you know, Brisbane Broncos, it was 26-0, so they need to improve their attack. Harry and Cameron Munster were quite poor that night, but it was the defence in the middle, and you saw when Penrith go to big games, their front rows lead the way. So if they can stop those two, they're going to go along to winning the game, but it's a big challenge for Melbourne Storm.
All right, Melbourne are sweating on the fitness of Jerome Hughes ahead of their preliminary final against the Panthers, and the star half is doing everything possible to play in the Suncorp Showdown.
Yeah, I'm pushing very hard. I'm a competitive guy and love playing, especially around finals. And I was probably giving the physios a bit of a headache last week because I told him I was sweet, but he obviously didn't think so. But yeah, I'm keen to get back. And probably the thing that I don't want to do is go out there underdone. And if I don't get through the game, it puts my team under pressure. So I'll make sure I'm right. You know, this week I've started really well and had a little trot yesterday, and hopefully can get into training tomorrow. So that's probably the next box to tick off.
It's finals football. You just got to find a way to win, and you know, we did that, and I think that's the same mindset this weekend. Yeah, I think we've still got a lot of improvement.
A big game for the Melbourne Storm up against Penrith at Accor Stadium, and Jerome Hughes is a must for the Melbourne Storm to play if they are to be a chance, I think, of beating Penrith. Do you guys think the same?
Yeah, I've always said he's the New Zealand Test halfback. I think he's in the top 2 or 3 halves in the game, and throwing Cherry Evans, Reynolds, Cleary, all of them, and that's the level of halfback you need to win a qualifier like this.
And he's been in fine form too before the injury. He'd been their best player. How fit is he? Is he fine?
Well, I think he'll play, Braith. I mean, it's obviously a calf problem. You've always got to be wary of those things, but I think they're pretty confident he'll play. I think Xavier Coates' a different story. I don't think Xavier Coates will play, but I think...
Was he close last week, Jerome?
I think he was reasonably close, but I mean, you know, I think they were just wary because it's a calf problem and, you know, they can just go like that, right? So with the extra week, I think he should be right.
He's got to play, doesn't he, Gordy?
He has to play because he unlocks Cameron Munster, and just his kicking game, you saw what Sean Johnson could do even on half a leg last week, so I think he's got to play.
Yeah. All right, Buzz, you mentioned it earlier, Ashley Klein, who was the referee in that game last week between the Melbourne Storm and the Roosters. It certainly wasn't one of his better performances. It was one of his worst, and he's been punished, has he?
Yeah, well, the NRL are holding their #1 referee accountable for what happened there the other night, and the Harry Grant knock-on for a start was so obvious, and they scored after it, and I know we've got some video coming up. Here it is now.
So this is the knock-on here, and to the naked eye, watching this game live, I think everyone thought it was a knock-on. There was no real doubt about it. And look where Ashley is. I mean, you can't get a better view. You couldn't get any closer. It was a bizarre ruling.
Yeah,
why couldn't the bunker have said quickly that was a knock-on, Ash?
Well, it doesn't interfere in general play.
But they do. You know they get tipped to.
I agree with you, Buzz. There's enough time there for the bunker to go, mate, that's a knock-on.
Geez, you're opening up a can of worms if you do that.
But they get tipped to all the time, Brady.
No,
Do they?
not like that, mate.
I
Not
thought
like
Graham
that
Humphrey
general
said that
play.
they don't.
Oh, I think they do.
You know, I think that's a really dangerous precedent if you're out of the bunker.
Yeah, but dangerous precedents or not, Reedy, it's a final to get into a prelim that could have cost a team a chance of winning a comp.
You can't change policy in
But in
2 weeks before the grand final.
Do you think they've changed policy before you? Do you think they've changed policy?
During the season, but not at this point of the season. You can't change
If it
policy
means that
now.
much, could you make the call that everyone in the world could see it?
Yeah.
If the bunker just said, mate, that's a knock on. You've got to rule knock on. That takes 2 seconds to say.
You cannot do that at this point of the year.
You can because it's millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of technology.
So what
the technology is there to stop incidents like that one, which could have thrown the Roosters out of the fight. The Roosters might have scored, Reedy. You know as well as I do that the bunker tips to the referee.
Mate, I've sat here and listened to people such as you and others bleat and moan about the bunker being too involved in play, and now you want them to tip the referee on the run.
When there is something blatantly wrong, and the touch judges should have seen it and said something too.
That's a very rare moment though, Reedy. I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree with the bunker coming in and out and stoppages. That would have taken a split second for the message to get down to him there. And you know what? It would have saved him. It would have saved Klein the embarrassment. Probably gets him the position of refereeing this weekend. He probably wishes that they said, mate, it was a knock on.
I've seen decisions changed, a couple of tackles later, Reedy.
All right, let's move on from this. So shortly after this buzz, there was obviously a try down the other end of the field to the Melbourne Storm. So this proved even more costly than what we thought when it first happened. Now, interestingly enough, after that, Tedesco gets an apology from Ashley Klein.
Oh, look, I thought he got his arm. No, look, I understand. I thought he got his arm underneath it.
That wasn't even close. And they could have challenged it, so he must have read it out.
Yeah, but I only call it as I see it, okay? I apologise. I can't say any more than that.
So Ashley Klein there, he's obviously seen it on the big screen at some point.
It's been tipped to.
Well, it's too. Why are they tipping him when it's all over?
Someone has said in his lugs, his earpiece.
Why would you tell him he's made a mistake?
Well, it's gone down the other end of the field, Braith. He wouldn't be looking at the screen.
I reckon he's seen it on the screen. Yeah. They replayed it because it was so obvious. But that was interesting, wasn't it? That he apologised.
Unbelievably interesting.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, just
to apologise to a player and admit you're wrong.
Well, it takes the frustration out of the player. I like that. It used to happen in my era. Before there was mites that say, I'm sorry, I got that wrong, you will get the next 50-50. It happened through my whole career. That's what they used to say without the mic.
Well, that happened, didn't it?
So straight
after... Is that fair?
No.
No, it's not.
No.
Straight after the try, then it was down the other end of the field, then he gave 2 6-agains and a penalty, which then led to a Roosters try. Did we think that this was the old-fashioned square-up, or were they...
I don't think it would have been a conscious square-up, Braith. It may have been an...
What's a conscious square-up and what's a square-up?
I don't think it would have been deliberate. I think maybe...
So it was an unconscious square-up?
Yes.
What is that, Reedy?
Well, it wouldn't have been deliberate. Maybe it was just...
Reedy...
So, look, I don't think he would have gone out of his way to consciously say, I'm going to square this up, I'm going to...
He said he felt bad after the Tedesco...
Yes, it was in the back of his mind for sure,
in the back of his mind, that's what I'm saying.
I've just cost the Roosters a try. And
a potential try.
It was, well, yeah.
Come on. It is.
They certainly cost them great field position, Gordon.
There you go.
Rather than to try up the other end.
Okay, so after the try from Brendan Smith, then the referee and Brendan Smith had an exchange. Let's take a listen.
All good. All good.
Are they giving off the line?
Yeah, I've given 2 6-agains and the marker penalty.
Oh, he's changed his tune there, Ashley.
Have you changed your tune? If someone just said, I've given them 2 6-agains and a penalty, is that suggesting that I'm now looking after you in a sort of...
Well, no, I mean, Brendan was complaining and he was saying to him, mate, you're probably right, they are getting off the line and that's why I've given those decisions.
Yeah, I've already given you 2. Like I am refereeing. Like I gave you 2 6-agains and I gave you a penalty.
Gordy, I'll say this.
Yep.
The social media attacks on Ashley Klein after the game were a disgrace. And no referee or employee in that role should be subjected, and I'm glad Volandis and everyone else supported him afterwards. But you can't take anything away from the fact that that was a blunderathon the other night, and the key decision at the end of the game too, not to give a penalty to Harry Grant when he was taken high also. And I'm sure that audio you've just played, Braith, I'm sure Graham Annesley and Andrew Abdo have listened to that today before making the decision to relegate him.
But no one's denying it was a blunderathon. I think everyone's acknowledging it was a blunderathon. That's why he's lost his position in first grade this week. And the bunker's got to take some responsibility for this, doesn't it? I mean, the bunker did get involved in the Harry Grant high shot, and there was no penalty given.
Because it's not a reportable offence. Is
And
that
he didn't
what-
get charged, Sam Walker, from memory out of that. But you know, I thought it warranted a penalty. We hit him flush in the face. I mean, Harry made Harry went down a bit theatrically, and I think that probably hurt his cause. But you know,
It was a high shot, mate. It was a high shot.
I understand that.
Clear
I'm
high
saying I
shot.
thought it should have been a penalty.
But they brought that rule in. If it's not a reportable offence,
Can
then
I just say one other thing?
you can say whatever you like.
Yeah, thank you. Ashley Klein has always been seen as a little bit of a protected species, a koala bear that he's made. He has.
Koala
he
bear?
has.
How?
That he has made errors in the past that haven't been treated as seriously as other referees who have made mistakes. The reason being, because he's done well in the big games, grand finals, test matches, state of origin
So he's got the
games.
runs on the board in big
Yeah,
games.
he
is that what
does.
you're saying?
So I am applauding the NRL for making him accountable
Yep.
and picking two form referees this weekend, G and Grant Atkins.
But that's how it used to be, wasn't it, in the old days?
Yeah, but what I'm
form
saying, it
referee.
hasn't always been like that, and I've had plenty of blues with them over the years about some referees.
But it's like some players, Buzz, they can handle the bigger moments better than others, right? So they go
Ashley
from club
Klein can
footy.
handle big moments, but he had a shocker the other night.